Alrighty, let me get this out the way right quick here. So I uploaded the video from Jimmy Dore. I showed a clip of his story. I thought it was very moving, and it speaks to a larger issue at hand. We hear that. We hear Jimmy Dore's story about the cancer they had, the dead bone in his hip and in his back. Um, and it's unbelievable. It's something that it's hard to hear, and I think that you can't make that type of shit up. At least in my opinion, you can't. I think it's disgusting when you see these folks that call Jimmy Dore a grifter, this and that, and it's like I have my disagreements with, but I think ultimately, I think he's speaking from the heart. You know, and you see these folks who are just like, well, oh, screw you, Jimmy Dore's a grifter, and all this sort of thing, and it speaks to a larger mindset on the left. And that ultimately, the real big names, people like AOC or even people like Vosh, ultimately don't want deep change. They don't. They talk about it. They talk a good game, but they don't. Vosh has admitted himself that he has health care. Vosh has admitted that. He says that he has health care because he's making enough money now where he can do that. So, in other words, this motherfucker has no place to speak. Zero room to speak about this shit. So, beyond the Medicare for All stuff, it speaks to a larger issue about climate change. It speaks to all these other issues ultimately. If you want to really talk about racial justice and all this sort of stuff, you know, well, you got to wait. The votes aren't there. So, whatever. It's the same. It's like if you act this way about something such as Medicare for All or getting people more than $600 for COVID relief for American citizens, how the hell will anyone that calls himself a progressive or a leftist or whichever, how are they going to try to stop or at least, try to curtail, we'll put it this way, shunt climate change? How are they going to do it? Ultimately, it goes to show that people who call themselves anarchists, these folks who are these far right researchers and all this other shit, these folks don't care. They just wanted a job. That's it. They just wanted a job. I find it disgusting, to say the least, when these folks, will talk about, well, we only have 10 years left. We have to do something about it. Ah. And of course, you ask them, oh, well, what do you mean? What should be done? Well, we should rely on the science, these group of scientists, but not these group of, they appeal to authority. As much as, the supposedly the anti-authoritarian left talk about, well, we need to fight the system and all this, and then it's like, well, the scientists know best, and they basically become the same shit libs that they claim to hate. They are no better. It's the same type of schizophrenic feeling that they have about journalism, where it's like, screw the New York Post for doxing this woman who has this nurse who has an OnlyFans page, this and that. The New York Post is bad, blah, blah, blah. And of course, when people are fired from their jobs and everything else, as we've seen, some of them, a lot of them may be weaknats, but still, not a word. Hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy. That's all it is. I've thought about making this video for a while, but it's like you see this schizophrenic attitude among the left, where it's just like, well, in 10 years, the topsoil is going to be gone and everything's going to be a desert. But actually, space travel is based, bro, and colonization in space is all right. The hypocrisy of it all. And you hear these types of folks, and they will say, yeah, going into space, as long as it's not populated, then who cares? And you see just how you could say it's must CIA or the, various programming. It's like, yeah, that's true to a point, but it's like people accepted it. And this is what we have to work with. This is this is what I think this is why a lot of Marxist Leninists rightfully say they don't call themselves leftist anymore. And I think that's a very smart move because ultimately you don't, it's like, it's just saying, I'm not with those motherfuckers. I'm not with these sellouts. I'm not with people like Vosh. I'm not with these anarchists, these Antifa folks who think that pulling down statues is going to change everything. No. Oh, wow, you tore down a statue. Holy shit, you're so base, bro. No, not really. No, not really. You're an idiot. And you further strengthen right-wing folks, and you further strengthen the power of the state. So when you start doing this, when you start pulling down these statues, it's like, do you think that pulling down the statues in Iraq made things better? I don't think it did. You think pulling down you think that Ukraine pulling down those statues of Zhukov helped? Not really. So the thing is, look, I realize I'm trying to be practical here, but the thing is about the statues, I'm just using that as an off point because so many, statues have been taken down. People actually think that's going to change something. No. Ultimately, it opens the door for other groups. It opens the door for folks who want more, extreme reactionary type views. But most people are too dumb to see that. It's just disappointing. This is why I always say that I will never call myself a left-wing person or a right-wing person, because they're both cringe for whatever reason. The left-wing folks, you'll have people like Vosh who are just like, well, actually, AOC, while she's not our friend, actually doing good work and stuff like that. And, Jimmy Dore, you should just shut your mouth. Or you'll have the right-wing folks who are just like, once again, you have such a mixed bag with the right. You have your libertarian right-wing folks who, are just cringe. You have the Fuentes sort of, I'm going to be Nosbo, but not really. Actually, I support Trump and ooh-woo catboy type of shit. You're all cringe. All of you are. Why would anybody in their right mind join either side right now? If I had it's like, even me, somebody who, I'm amazed I get through my day some days. Why would you join either side? Why would you join any of these folks in the United States? I can't speak for the rest of the world, but for the United States, why would you join any of these groups? Why would you join any of these guys? And I say that term guys loosely, but it's like, no, you're both fucking stupid. At this point, like I say, I would rather join the Russian mob, or I would rather join the Chinese triads or whoever else and run guns for them than ever join you guys. All right? Because you're not going to do shit for me, basically. All right? I'll just be dead honest with you. But the thing is that, it does come down to that a lot of ways. I wish people would just be honest about it, though, where people try to, fall on their sword and say, I care about the other people. No, I care about myself. And I know that's it's not something that's polite to say or whatever, but look, when people get older, they'll be like, hey, I got to take care of myself, or take care of my family, more importantly. You know, it's like you can be loyal to a motherfucker all day, but it's like, hey, I got kids. You know, I've got grandkids. I've got, you know, whatever. You know, I've got my mom to take care of or whatever. You know, and neither side, in my opinion, at this point, that could change, but at this point, nobody is really addressing that. And before anyone says anything, that includes Awake Nats as well. They don't have any offers either. They talk in hushed tones and everything else, and they're much more careful about feds and everything. But they, you know, they're broken up in many ways, and there's nothing there. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I think that's important to say. You know, definitely solidarity with Jimmy Dore. You know, I will be making my calls, and maybe that'll make a difference. And they'll send me a letter probably that says, "Thank you for your interest, but we're not gonna," you know. So maybe I'll call up the, you know, whoever I need to call and do that, and at least make my theoric, my empty, impotent voice. At least my voice was, you know, at least ignored. You know, at least I said my voice and I made sure where my loyalties were. But yeah, that's all I got. I hope y'all have a good rest of the day, and I think we'll do a closeout stream. I don't know. I think tomorrow we'll go ahead. Tomorrow we'll go ahead and make it the a retrospective of the year 2020. So I hope y'all enjoy that, and goodbye.